Oh, look at that. Welcome to Mookie Musings with Mookie. Did not think it was going to work today because I've been trying to post a podcast for the past 3 days. So today we're going to talk about imposter syndrome and what that means to me. Imposter syndrome happens to quite a few of us. It happens in early education. It happens to us in part of our secondary education, which is high school. Happens to us for those that went to college or maybe um what I want to call it, something like Job Corps. I compare that to college. It happens to us um during uh our first job. Maybe not so much because you're there to make money. So unless you're looking for that to be a long term, especially if it's like a little fast food job or apprenticeship, uh, internship time. Unless you're looking for that to be your your next space, you don't too much suffer imposter syndrome there. Um, Going into our very first semi or permanent workplace, we suffer. People suffer from imposter syndrome. Some people, it's so extreme. Others is just a light. It's just a light day. I'm gonna get past this part, but that question is always the same. Am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be making these fries like this? Am I doing this correctly? Did I color within the lines? Is my paper good enough to be turned in? All of those questions, similar questions like that. Am I going to be asked to come back for this internship tomorrow? Am I going to be asked to be, am I a good volunteer? Did I provide what they needed as a volunteer? Um, are they going to fire me tomorrow because I accidentally took $100 bill that wasn't real? That one actually happened to me. So that is part imposter syndrome and part like me having to feel like I'm going to have to like pay for something, not monetarily, but not having that job anymore. Besides, I was only 16. So imposter syndrome on par happens with self promoters. Imposter syndrome, from my experience, not even my personal experience. When I say not even, not to have my personal experience on forefront, but I've met so many self starters that talk about imposter syndrome. I don't have the definition right now. And since, before I recorded a 36-minute podcast and my screen timed out, I was no longer going to be going back to search for anything. And I didn't bring another device to search up imposter syndrome. So if you want to search up imposter syndrome while I'm talking, go right ahead. But I'm moving on because this is Musings with Mookie. Okay? Mookie is not even my first name. It's not my birth name. So I have this shit I'm just making up. So I wonder, are they gonna beat me for using profanity? I don't know. But that's just one profane word. I'll try not to use too many. So yeah, on par, imposter syndrome is the strongest with self promoters, self starters. Yes, they have this belief. I have something good. I have something good for the people. They need to see this. They need to use it. But that imposter syndrome is strong. Imposter syndrome will have you looking at your work and be like, this is dumb. Imposter syndrome will have you in a room full of other creatives and you being the showrunner and thinking no one is going to like this. No one is going to like this, even though you've been assured that what you're doing is good. In your head, you keep saying no one's going to like this. And you worked really hard on it. You've had people, you would have people come and see and it's like, yes, you should put this on display. You should show this to people. You should make this product again. This is really good stuff. You should write a book. You are a great artist. Would you paint me something? Now, just because you have imposter syndrome and you are really good at your niche does not mean everything will be correct. You may not meet the right people. You may not be in front of the right audience. You may not have found your right audience, which those things add to your imposter syndrome because you have to keep searching and there's no one paying you. There's no one feeding you. Well, for the most part, if you're an adult, a self starter, yeah, there's no one feeding you. You're not a child. It's easier to move around. And when I say easier, please take this with a caveat. I know I can't just keep, take a lot of these things with a grain of salt, a caveat, whatever you have. But as a child, it's easier to move around imposter syndrome because you're thinking, well, I'm older than this person, or I've done this before, even though they're better. Um, your childlike inquisitiveness, your curiosity, um, you're willing to make friends or be a friend. That nudges imposter syndrome out of the way. But yes, self starters have imposter syndrome on par. I want this. I'm going to get it. No one else can do it like I do. No one else is putting this out there for this group of people to use, to see, to read. I have flies buzzing around me. I don't know if I'm doing a podcast in the garage. I mean, my shed. But that is what self starters run into. They're wanting to put something out there that they don't see other people having access to, and they make it accessible. Like creating TikTok. The search engine on that thing is impeccable. Okay. Why delay information? Yes, they do put you click on something, algorithms. But the information is out there. You don't get stuck like in some other apps. So, imposter syndrome. Who aids or what aids imposter syndrome? Being a self-starter, going against the grain, doing something different. Your biggest your opposition to your goals could be your family. Doesn't matter if you're rich, doesn't matter if you're poor, doesn't matter, you end up being successful. They'll remind you of who you were and what you said, what you did. Some of it fair, some of it not fair. someone sees your idea and says to themselves, I'm going to do it better. So now they do it, adding their critique. And so you have to pivot. You either choose to pivot or continue. And when you pivot, you hide more. Some things are worth being hidden, some things not. What can you do about imposter syndrome? I'll tell you what I do. When my body tells me to sleep, I go to sleep. What I did when my body told me to go to sleep and I didn't go to sleep, I attempted to work. And when I worked, I didn't like what I saw in the end. Another thing I do when I'm starting to suffer from imposter syndrome, I remind myself of what I've done. Who has seen me? Who has applauded me? Who has purchased from me? Who has taken my book, read it, and decided to leave me a note? I've had people take a line of my name and get a line of one of my poems and get a tattoo. Imposter syndrome. You don't have to stay. You don't have to stay in it. You just have to recognize when you're in it. Well, that's all I got for that today. I intended to have another thing. I have a 15-minute recording on my phone. I'm probably just going to delete it because I'm not going to figure out how to get it onto the podcast, and we just move on. Well, this was Musings with Mookie. I'm here for the collective, to guide the collective. If you've seen me in traffic, never mind that. I like my relationships like I like my speed, hard and fast. So I'll see you all next time. Well, I won't see you all. I'll drop a line next time. Not sure when. Talk to you later. Bye.